In this Hogwarts Legacy video, I'm going to be showing you 10 things that you should know before you start playing the game that will help you get the most out of the game as you're exploring the grounds of Hogwarts, Hogsmeade, and the areas throughout the game. Note that I've kept the spoilers to these aspects of the game as minimal as possible. I don't want to ruin any exploration for people. This is one of the best parts, if not the best part of this game, and I feel like everyone deserves to do that on their own blindly. But these tips will help you have more enjoyment while you're doing that, so that you're not frustrated or you're not wondering like, should I go forward or should I stay here and try and do this, so that you can just play at a more smoother pace and you're not upset or wondering like, I don't know what to do. Also, a big shout out to Warner Brothers for sponsoring this video, and you can use our tracking link below to help support the channel if you plan on pre-ordering the game or ordering it after launch. And if you didn't know, you can still gain early access to the game if you pre-order the game's deluxe edition on PC, Xbox Series X or S, or PlayStation 5. That will give you 3 days early access, allowing you to play tomorrow. The first thing we're going to talk about is your house choice and how this affects the game beyond, you like this certain house, so you want to pick this certain house, but how does that actually impact gameplay mechanics? That's what we're going to talk about first. So the first thing to know is that you have a unique common room available to your house. These are different, they have different styles, and the characters found inside these common rooms are different depending on which house, because they belong to that house or they don't. So obviously you're going to be interacting in the game with different characters from different houses, but the characters that are in your house will more often be in that common room, which will give you more interactions with them that would probably happen if you weren't from the same house. Additionally, sometimes depending on what quest you're on or what's happening in the game, you will go to sleep and wake up in your dorm. So wherever your dorm is located in the castle, they all have their different locations. That's where you wake up. This isn't such a huge deal. It's a little bit at the very beginning of the game when you haven't unlocked all the fast travel locations yet, because you might not know your way around the castle very well and you're starting to learn things. But as the game progresses, it becomes less and less important because you can fast travel just about anywhere you want to go anyway. It also affects some of the dialogues that you'll have and what characters you'll interact with at the beginning of the game and probably throughout the entire game. I haven't finished the entire game at this point. But it does affect some of those things, and you will see some things a little bit differently because of the house that you're in. All in all, it does have an impact on the way the story unfolds in the game, but it's not so significant that you should sit there and worry about it for hours and hours. And it is maybe a cause to replay the game from a different point of view, but I don't think it's so substantial that you need to worry about that. The next thing I want to talk about is fast travel. I just mentioned this in the previous point, but there are fast travel points that you unlock in the game as you just, go buy them. This is something you're going to discover very early on in the game. But something that you can do is you can actually set waypoints to these fast travel locations so that you can actually seek them out, and once you've gone by them, once they're unlocked, and then you can fast travel to them. This makes things a lot easier. A lot of times you might run right by one and you're just out of range of unlocking it. You don't even notice it's there if you're not paying attention. So something that would be good to do would be pay attention to where these fast travel locations are and check where you are on the map regularly. And if there's one nearby, just set a waypoint and the map will take you right to it. The mini map will. And you can grab it real quick. That way, if you need to fast travel back there, it'll save you time. Now, I totally get that a lot of people are going to be wanting to explore the castle early on, and you should definitely do that. But at some point, it'll save you time, as you've already discovered, like all the secrets between where you're going, and you just want to get there quickly. The next point I want to talk about, too, is that you should absolutely explore everything. There's stuff everywhere in this game. Absolutely everywhere. I don't want to go into what you find or how cool it is or any of that stuff, but there is so much stuff to find in this game that it's going to take you days and days and days to find it all, and you should absolutely take your time, explore, check everywhere, use your Revelio as often as you can. Don't worry about spamming it, just check everywhere and find all the things there are in this game, because it is a ton of fun and there is absolutely a nutty amount of things to find. Piggybacking off that, Revelio is a spell that you're going to use constantly in this game. It's one of the first things you get, and it kind of is like a Witcher pulse from like The Witcher 3, where kind of shows you that there's some things around and you can kind of deduce where they are but not exactly how to get to them. And it makes a sound. I want to focus on the sound for a second, because the louder the sound is, it means the closer it is to you. The further that sound is away, the further away from you it is. But keep in mind that sound can be up or down as well, not just left and right. So you might ping something that's above you a couple floors or ping something below you a couple floors. So make sure you look up and down vertically when you're wondering like where that sound is coming from, so that you can isolate what it is that you're pinging. And next thing I want to talk about is don't get hung up on puzzles. There are a ton of puzzles in this game, and as you progress the game, it will become clear to you what you need to do. So if you run into a puzzle and you can't figure out what to do, don't sweat it. The game will explain it to you at some point, so just carry on. I mean, spend some time if you want trying to figure it out, that's fine. But if you're really struggling with it and you can't get it, don't spend hours. Don't go to Google and try and figure out how to solve it. Just keep progressing the game, and eventually you will figure it out, and you'll be happy that you didn't have to go anywhere. Now, the next point is kind of contradictory to what I just said and is a spoiler, so if you don't want a spoiler, skip this section. But I do want to talk about one specific puzzle because I know people instinctively will want to Google this particular one, and there's a real easy solution for this that will just save them time so they don't have to, which is why I want to tell them now. But if you do not want a spoiler, skip ahead a bit because this is absolutely a spoiler. So there are some doors in the game that have these sort of icons on the outside. There are 10 of them, and you have to match them up with these triangle math puzzle sort of things. What you need to do is you need to add up the numbers on each point of the triangle to the number in the middle, and each icon has a value. It starts with 0 on the left and goes to 9 on the right. It's that simple. But when you first start, you don't know that first icon is 0, so you're thinking it's 1, and it makes the puzzle unsolvable. So know that first one is 0, and the last one is 9, and you should be able to solve these puzzles from the very get-go, and that will save you some time and frustration, and also you won't need to Google anything. Okay, moving along to a completely different topic, I want to talk a bit about fashion and equipment. So there is a lot of equipment in this game, like an absolute metric boatload of equipment in this game, and some of it looks interesting, but it's not exactly going to make you look the way you want. And there are ways to override the equipment that you're wearing with, different fashion so that you can look the way you want, but still have the bonuses from gear, and I highly, highly recommend that. But early on in the game, I would recommend going with fashion over stats. Because if you look ridiculous, then you're trying to role play, which this is a very role play friendly game, let's be honest. You're probably not going to enjoy the game as much. So definitely prioritize fashion over stats early on in the game. I'm talking the first 5 to 8 hours of the game. You don't really need to worry about your stats that much. Hang on to the items that you have that have good stats, but prioritize fashion over stats. Look the way you want, make your character feel the way you want, really enjoy that experience, and don't worry about the stats on your gear. The game is not hard enough that it requires you to really min-max during the early stages, so it's not something you need to worry about at all. And this brings me to my next tip, which is that your gear will eventually overflow. You can only hold so much pieces of gear at once, and then you're not going to be able to pick them up out of chests or locations throughout the game world, and you'll be like, what was that item? I can't put it in my inventory. You're going to have to destroy something in inventory to pick it up, which really sucks. But there is a place you can go to sell stuff, to free up stuff from your inventory, and also buy better gear once you've been to Hogsmeade once, so I kind of want to talk about that. If you go to Gladrag's Wizardwear and talk to Augustus Hill there, he will be able to buy stuff from you so you can sell extra equipment that you don't need anymore for gold, which then will allow you to buy better gear. He also has a decent selection of legendary equipment early on in the game. This is really good for you. So if you're wondering well, I keep filling up on equipment, I don't know what to do, you can travel there basically any time after you've been to Hogsmeade once and just sell stuff from the world map. So make sure you travel, make sure you sell stuff regularly. That way you're not constantly overloaded with gear and you're having to decon stuff that you could be selling for valuable gold. Another thing that I want to mention as well is that once you reach Hogsmeade, you're going to be able to change some things about your appearance that you might not be satisfied with. So don't get too hung up on character creation. You won't be able to change your gender. You won't be able to change your face or anything like that. You'll be able to change your hair. You'll be able to change your eye color. You'll be able to change your complexion, whether you have scars and things like that. So you'll be able to make other adjustments to yourself that maybe you weren't happy with, but the bulk of your character will remain there. So make sure you get, the important details of your character right, but the specifics you can change later if you're not happy with them. And lastly, you will get to customize your wand in the game. You'll get to pick one. That will be your wand for the whole game. You're not going to find wands throughout the game because that kind of goes against the Wizarding World lore of each person having their own wand that works very well for them. But you'll get to tailor it, length, color, what kind of wood you want, and you'll get to make that not too far into the game. So that's something you'll get to do. But just know that that's your wand for the game. You can change the handle of it later through getting equipment, but it doesn't have really any gameplay impact. It just changes a small part of the appearance of it. But know that your wand will be with you the whole game. So maybe spend some time on that and really, feel out what you like and, what sort of thing you want it infused with, etc. So that sort of wraps up our things you should know before you play. I hope I didn't spoil you guys too much with things. I definitely don't want to ruin anyone's experience. I've been having an amazing time playing this game. and I definitely don't want that to be taken from you. But I will say, if I'd known a few of these things before I started playing, it would have saved me a couple hours of just like pulling my hair out trying to solve some puzzles, or trying to figure out like what do I do with all my extra equipment, or running around castle like not having fast travel points. So trying to save you guys just a small amount of frustration that will make your gameplay experience a little bit enjoyable, and you can just like rest easy knowing these things are going to happen and just really take in and enjoy the experience of Hogwarts Legacy. Again, a big thank you to Warner Brothers for sponsoring this video, and you can use the link below to purchase the game to help support the channel. And one more time, I'll remind you that you can get early access to this game and play tomorrow if you pre-order the Deluxe Edition on PC, PlayStation 5, or Xbox Series X or S. So what did you guys think of our 10 things you should know before you start guide? Was that helpful? Did I spoil it too much? Let me know in the comments below.